we're going to wait until during the meeting.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Could you say that?
We're running out of time.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, just barely, but I'll,
Chief, I need to know how to use this.
I might have to relay some of your information to everyone, so.
Mayor wants to.
Just be a few minutes.
Hey, Chief. I don't know how to make the second call. I don't want to hang up on Councilmember Rounds.
Put it on hold.
Put it on hold?
Okay.
Yep. Hold. New call?
You say more?
It says more, new call?
More?
More?
Conference?
Oh, okay.
Dialogue?
I should call Carol again. On board? Doesn't pay more money.
What there's you?
Now you're stretched. Okay, now what do I hit? Okay, stand by, please.
There you go.
Are you there?
Do we have everybody?
Yeah, Carol's on hold though. How do I get Carol back? Conference. Accent. Carol, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, well, you don't have to yell at us. Go ahead.
Mrs. G, you there?
What is that? I know. I know.
Responsible for this beautiful car.
I like those. I don't like
I see you. I hear you. I see you. All right, we're going to get started here in just a moment. Yeah, we're going to start the meeting though. Because we're on, so we can be on time, and then we'll just do it right after Flight Soup Bus. I'm just looking. What does that say? Yeah, it was all passed through. Okay. So that we've got money.
We did.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. It is Monday, March 16th, 2020. This is a regular meeting for the City Council of Woodland. We currently have 3 members that have teleconferenced in for this meeting due to our state of emergency at this moment in time. You're going to please silence your cell phones and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry, please have everyone remain standing for a moment. This past weekend, I guess it was last weekend, we lost former council member Alice Wendell to an unknown reason down in Arizona. Sounds like there were some health complications. So if we could just take a moment in recognition of Mr. Swindell's service to the citizens of Woodland, it would be much appreciated. Thank you very much. Be seated. In regards to Mr. Swindell, there will be more details coming from Memorial here in Woodland. It sounds like it will be coming in the coming months, and we'll keep you posted with those dates. At this time, we did cancel the Planters Days Princesses, but we're going to go ahead and take roll first. So, Mrs. Hartman, I can get you to...
Councilmember Fredericks.
Here.
Councilmember Rounds.
Councilmember Rounds.
Councilmember Plaza.
Here.
Councilmember Holland.
Present.
Councilmember Graham.
Here.
Councilmember Chapman. Councilmember Smith.
Yes, sir.
All council members are either accounted for or via telephone. This evening we have Councilmember Rounds, Graham, and Smith via telephone. At this time, we did cancel the princesses as stated, but we do have a presentation for our police department, and it sounds like we have one Girl Scout? One Girl Scout from troop number
44276.
44276. I'll have them come on in, and Chief will...
Officer, you want to come in so we can embarrass you?
I'll out of the way of the photo here.
front.
Right here.
What's that?
For anybody else.
Okay.
Yeah. We won't try to buy them.
Yeah. So, Mr. Mayor, and members of council, this is the second year that the Girl Scouts have donated cookies to the police department. They like to take care of us. So, as part of that, I would like to present Girl Scout Troop 44276 with a certificate of appreciation. It reads, in recognition of your support for the Woodland Police Department and your community, awarded this day, the 16th day of March, 2020. And signed by me.
Thank you much. All right, I know we're supposed to do 6 feet, but can we just scoot in real quick around
We're
the
good.
breath?
We're good. No breathing on each
Don't
other.
breathe on each other.
Come on, behind, guys.
I don't want to stand next to the chief. That looks like All right.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
They were donated. Oh, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to, ladies, can you hear me just fine? Moving on to items
Hey, my mom got it.
not on the agenda. We have one person signed up this evening, Mr. Bob Nelson.
Yes.
All of you step forward to the podium here and state your name. Sure. And we'll allow you 5 minutes.
Absolutely. Bob Nelson, I'm a member of Woodland Resort LLC. We're developing a property just to the north of the Training Center on 18 rugged acres of land. And I won't take a lot of time, my 5 minutes, but I wanted to pass out some handouts that I can leave with everybody. Okay?
That works. If you just want to leave them with the clerk there, and we'll make sure that everybody gets a copy.
Yes. Speak from them a little better. Not themselves, but we've been putting a lot of work and planning into this. We're developing an RV resort,
Okay.
not an RV park. The difference being is our pads are twice as large as normal, 23 by 65. We have pull-ins that are 20 by 70. We have pull-throughs that are 15 by 70, and that takes care of most of them. The biggest we feel we're moving to the city, we're taking some rugged land, making it productive, moving 200,000 cubic yards of dirt, Tracy. Land, you can see that there's that will add, that and the RV resort will add some 20-some new jobs. We feel that we're bringing more affordable housing to the city, what I term an alternative living community, where I'm combining mobile RVs and tiny homes or cottages to the rear. The rear is phase 3, which we're addressing after your 2021 comp plan. We're thinking it might have more of a residential overlay into the C2 zoning. We have enough to address on the first part. And then phase 2, which is the clubhouse and the commercial elements, will be sometime late next year. So we're focusing on developing the RV park for the remainder of this year. That kind of brings that into focus. We feel this brings a revenue base to the city of greater than $100,000 to $200,000. You are gracious enough to grant us from 29 days occupancy to 90 days contiguous in a prior session. And basically, that was a big step forward. It's not possible to develop these parks because basically in the wintertime, if you don't have some long-term element, you're not going to survive. You're not going to get the financing. They're treated as motels. Hard to get financing for RV parks, and that's where I kind of stay in front of you, lobby why we need to extend that period. Ideally, what would work for us, in the last page, I've just eliminated some wording from the ordinance. The ordinance as read is perfect, but the detail gets back. this modification is within the RV park. It's not within necessarily the C2 zone at large in the county. So basically, it's something we can control. We're not going to have tents, and we just need greater residency. So if they could stay for 90 concurrent days, take a day off, come back the next day, 90 concurrent days. What that does for us, it allows us to monitor the park. If we have a bad apple, like they do in Wilsonville, Pheasant Ridge RV Resort, this is their model. And if people, if they're not good for the park, they don't get to come back to that spot. And it's monitored. And so that's just some of the ideas we're open to. But it will help us to obtain the long-term financing that we need to put this park together. Okay? Otherwise, it'll be built. Okay? Because of, how much equity do we have to give up? And there's three of us, and I think we have a good community orientation to us. I think the planning department and ourselves have got along very well. We like the community. I wouldn't mind retiring here and running this thing. So, if not us, then who? But the design is solid. It's coming together beautifully. I have the engineering team at Stanridge Design. They're aggressively moving forward with the land planning and the SEPA and those things we've done over the next couple of months. And at that point in time, we'll get grant permits sometime this summer to move some dirt. And we'll see how far we get the build out this year, given the weather. I think my 5 minutes are up.
Oh, don't go anywhere though, please.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what sales. So the change that was made previous, what was that change?
And then the last page.
Okay, and it's the 90 days consecutive per year.
Right.
And the standard shall not permit, or you just want that portion removed?
What I've underlined.
Okay.
On the caption up above, it's perfect. And this would allow us, for park policies, to say, if you're a good neighbor, you can come back. If not, that allows us to control, these motorhomes are not going to be older than 10 years.
Okay.
There's a lot of park standards that everybody's adhering to. The tiny home communities are exciting, they're cottages, and we're talking about 100 plus affordable housing for the city. I mean, baby boomers are downsizing. They're selling their houses, they're buying motorhomes, they're going on the road, but they always want to be back in the Northwest in the summertime. The problem with the Northwest in the wintertime, you don't get any overnight traffic. You need a long-term element to survive. If in fact, to the law, if it were enforced, you would not have the Woodland Shores RV Park. In our pre-app, it was acknowledged that, yes, that has it. And I'm not saying to police them, I'm just saying it's the nature of the business. There haven't been any new RV parks built in the Northwest in the last 10 years, new financed RV parks. And that the reason being is they treat them as motels. How do motels get built? Chains of people that have capital to pledge assets to have liquidity to build the motels. And same with RV parks, which are a little bit more cottage, smaller people, less funds, less capitalization. So,
Do you currently have an application pending with the city?
we're in the process of...
You're in the process of that.
Of the land use application.
Okay, gotcha.
Our engineers...
Have you already purchased the property?
We have.
Okay. Is this a group of investors, or is this you? What's
Myself and two others.
Okay.
One is Rick Leixel with First Choice Excavating, and Rick is kind of our magic potion because he can move that dirt. If we had to go out commercially and move that dirt, the bid was around $2 million.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So at cost, we can do that substantially less. And then Cameron Cook is a longtime partner of mine. We've been together since 2000.
Okay.
Half my age, I taught him to golf, now he beats me. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, but both of us are tech savvy. Okay, we're going to bring the RV industry into the 21st century.
Okay.
If you can envision a smartphone app and somebody on the road and says, we need a pad, and they look at the CPAT 68 is available, okay, they can say we want it, go through the kiosk, pay for it, and they get there, the power's turned on.
Okay.
So after our operations, we have our site manager already selected. He wants to move his business from Vancouver to Woodland. It's a printing business. And he and his wife will run the shop. And
You had
mentioned Wilsonville. What was the name of the park?
That was Pheasant Park RV Resort.
Is there any others that you could provide an example of that we can?
Of this nature, no.
Okay.
Okay, most of them, I don't know how they've done it, everywhere in the country. I asked Fred Rothbaum. Fred has had RV parks for 40 years, developed RV parks. And I said, Fred, how did you handle this? Everywhere in Oregon, all these places. Well, we just get together the people, made sure they got the room tax.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
this is code on books everywhere. Colorado separated tents from motorhomes, and that's where I got my code amendment. All the border plate for the alternative living, which Travis and Melissa are trying to organize and bring that into the, as an appendix
Okay.
to the C2 zone. So they've been great working with us. Nothing but kudos.
Perfect. Council, we don't ask questions of council, they all come through me at this point, so we'll ask Mr. Goddard some questions, I'm sure, when we get into regular session. Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, I see no one else signed up and no one else here. And moving on to items on the agenda. See no one. I'm going to put this under my... Does council have questions for Mr. Goddard on this topic at this point?
I'm assuming I do.
Okay.
Just for Mr. Goddard.
Just for Mr. Goddard, all right.
Yes. So when there is an application, presuming there's an application before the city, that will tell me that process, because that would turn into a land use matter, which is, will a judicial decision need to be made out of that, or no?
So if it requires a conditional use permit, it would go before the hearings examiner, but if it's just a straight-up site plan, that would be reviewed internally by staff.
Okay.
And it would not have a public hearing.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Chapman.
I'm taking these will have sewer and water hookup each.
Yes.
Okay, so Chief Coleman, at the end of the thing, would this many sewer and water hookups would it be okay on our sewer and water system and stuff? Or would it be?
I need to evaluate that because we don't have the sewer and water line going to that point at this time, so it would be something I have to evaluate.
Thank you, ma'am.
Where's the current stub off, Ms. Coleman?
Right there off Old Pacific Highway.
It's for Belmont Loop area.
It's right before you get to this area. This is at the dead end of the road, so it kind of stops right before you turn off right by the training center.
Oh, this is down further.
Yeah.
I thought that was the backfield right
The
there.
road blocked off, and you keep on going, and then it's over to the right. Freeway.
So back out of there, that is where, okay, I'm tracking now.
North side
of the training center.
Up the hillside?
No.
I'm trying to
It's on the
picture
north
it.
side of the hillside.
Okay.
The hill's here, and then this is all the property down below. All the transmission lines used to go across, they rerouted the transmission lines around up Green Mountain Road.
Gotcha.
Nice new power poles. I'm good for that.
Oh, wow, okay. Anything else? Any other questions? Anyone on the line have any questions?
No. I'm good.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Right, careful.
Moving on to the portion for agenda.
Move to adopt the agenda.
Second. Moved by Councilmember Frederick, seconded by Councilmember Plaza. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Not sure what I'm voting on. We're voting to adopt the agenda.
Councilmember Chapman. Councilmember Frederick. Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
The agenda's been approved. Moving on to reports of City Council.
Who has a report?
You have something to say, Mrs. Graham?
No. I don't think so.
Okay.
Just backing off.
This is very interesting.
Councilmember Smith, do you have a report?
No reports.
Public safety. Who's that?
No, that would be me.
Who's going to report on public safety?
Not me.
Mrs. Graham?
The meeting was canceled yesterday, so there is no report.
Gotcha.
Excuse me, today.
Okay. Next meeting at this point is going to be on April 20th. Public Works was also canceled this evening. Mrs. Rounds, do you have anything to report for Public Works?
No.
Ms. Coleman?
It was canceled.
It was canceled. Do you have anything to report on the?
No.
No. Okay, thank you. Next meeting will also be on April 20th, if we continue here. Mrs. Graham, do you have a report for Chamber of Commerce?
Just that today we have put into place visitor center and whatnot.
Okay, and what about downtown revitalization?
It was canceled.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And you're saying Chamber of Commerce has been canceled until further notice at this point? Or just this week? Okay, gotcha.
Yes, and they can always call the 559552 number, and it will be answered, and we will do our best as far as communicating with people and making sure if they have some needs or something, we can help them with.
Perfect. Thank you. Go back real quick here. Oh, that's it. My report this evening, so earlier in the week, or last week on Tuesday, I attended the Cowlitz County Economic Council annual meeting, CEC. Is that right? CECD? CECD. Oh, wait.
CEDC.
I attended lunch last week and, with a number of folks. A wonderful presentation on from a member of the governor's board, and I can't remember who she is now. Or it was a
Employment Security.
Employment Security.
Secretary of Employment
Were
Security.
you there?
Yes, sir.
Did we see each other?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. There was a lot of people there.
Purpose.
No, it was on purpose. I thought it was a great presentation. I appreciate the clerk for inviting me and sat with some wonderful folks. So I attended that. And then also, I want to give an update this evening on the current situation that we're in, and I'm asking council on action item L this evening, resolution 719, resolution declaring a public emergency. On Friday, just before 1 p.m., I signed a declaration of civil emergency. We are the first city within Cowlitz County to sign that. The others are jumping on board as of, I believe they said by 4 p.m. today that they would be jumping in on that. I haven't been paying attention if that actually occurred. But I've been in constant communication with Clark County elected officials and the Department of Emergency Management down there. Also up in Cowlitz County as well. Mr. Bruce and I sat on a telephone conference this afternoon with other cities in Cowlitz County, trying to form a communication plan and a path forward. At this point, all city facilities, with the exception of the police department, are currently closed to the public, and all communication or requests will be done online. So we're looking at April 24th as our current date of reopening things back up, unless things have changed.
Or by telephone.
Or by telephone, yeah, sorry. So online or telephone outside the City Hall front door for those that are paying cash. Any overpayments will be credited onto their next statement. Starting tomorrow, any citizen or utility payer that is paying online, that service currently has a fee associated with it, $4.95 or 95 cents, depending on the mode of payment, and that will be credited back to the utility payer at the next statement as well. I'm confident in our ability to keep the city running and all the services that are currently being provided, and we will continue to provide those services. I think that we've been extremely proactive, and I'm proud of the team that's sitting at the table with me. Making a difficult decision was to sign that piece of paper, but I think it was necessary, and I think that we did the right thing. Not that I want to be first in a situation like this, but I think that we've been having these conversations over the last couple of weeks, and I think it was time to finally pull the trigger. I hate to say it that way, but so we're doing well, and employees are still beginning to work, and the city will still be functioning. We're using unsafe practices at this point, and some administrative services have been taken away from the police department to function, which would be fingerprinting for employment, and also controlled pistol licenses, or concealed pistol licenses will no longer be processed until we're out of the state of emergency as well. So with that said, I can take questions from council at this point, or we can wait. It's up to you. But as a region, I believe that we're phasing in a new way of doing business currently. And I think that we'll be expecting or experiencing some other changes as the week goes on, just judging from some of the press conferences I've been listening to and monitoring, and some of the discussions that are going on behind the scenes. So with that said, I'll open up the floor to council for questions at this point, or you can wait until we get into the action item itself. Or we wait until we get to the action item. Okay, sounds good. Other than that, I'm proud of the team that's at the table, and I think that we're moving forward, and I think we're doing a good job, and we're going to continue to do a good job. So, Mr. Boyce. Real quick, I'm sorry before you start. Some of the other things that have happened as well, we kept a lot of community events at the community center, and also the April 11th Easter egg extravaganza that happens in the park. I hate to cancel Easter. I'm not trying to cancel Easter. But that's one of those events that, what was that? What was that? It's just one of those events that's going to be a large gathering, and I don't think that we should be holding those. We're also delivering all permits out of our community development department to on-site. Typically what happens, the client comes into the building, and we need to pick up the permits, and we're now delivering those on site. We've also extended the hours over the community development for telephone calls coming in for an extended hour. So we're doing everything we can to make sure the city is functioning. I have all confidence in the world that we'll be able to continue doing that, although it is a little bit of an inconvenience for those that use us every day. I hope that the patience and understanding and judging by the confirmed person around you, I would say it's safe to say that it's going to hopefully not come to our community, but it's in the area. So we're doing everything we can to prevent the spread here.
So,
yeah.
Pre-application meetings, tell me the process of how that works. If I want to bring a project to Woodland and I want to have a conversation about it, how is that going to happen?
So we had a call today about a potential new project, and they wanted to schedule when it would have been. We were initially thinking that we would reevaluate early April, but that was kind of before the decision had been made for late April. So when I talked to the consultant today, they said that they have part of their firm, they have the, I believe they said go-to meeting available with the firm. So what they'll do is they will submit their applications online, we will distribute it and prepare our staff report as usual, only instead of actually meeting at City Hall at the conference room, we will call the consultant's office and their team will be assembled so that we can Facebook or do the video film in, and they'll have produced staff reports to look at, and we'll be able to discuss things.
Is that the plan for future? Does the city have anything in place for that if you have other folks that want to bring a business to Woodland?
I think that will be a case-by-case basis. The community development applicant is in a good position because all applications can be submitted online and electronically. And so the applications that come in, we actually have very little communication or face-to-face contact with the applicants other than the pre-application conference. So all of our communication is currently done over the phone, emails, and those kind of things. So it won't actually interrupt a lot of our service. I had a real estate agent call me today, and I went to their office rather than having them come to City Hall. So we're working around and trying to provide other services rather than making them come to us. You might consider that a service plus that we didn't offer as of Thursday of last week.
Thank you.
And I think it should also be noted that Ms. Coleman's department is still up and running and projects are still being completed as well around the city. Public Works, I've asked that they practice social distancing when out in the field and making sure that they're not coming in contact with community in close distances and making sure that those projects are still ongoing. And I just saw Tyler out today installing a sign. So business is still being completed, jobs are still getting done, just with care and caution in mind. Mr. President.
All right. I'm not going to repeat everything you said, but we've been living and breathing coronavirus lately. So
Yes.
we've been talking internally, trying to make sure we have operation plans to continue providing service as we go forward. And I feel like we're in a good space right now. The upcoming community events, we've canceled quite a few of those. Right now, we've canceled the park board meeting, the Civil Service Commission meeting. That was due to lack of business at this point. And also the April 15th WQCC meeting. Woodland Action Center we have listed, and I'm not sure if that's on. It is?
We're already socially distant. We sit in our own pews.
And we still have the council retreat, April 25th, at 9 a.m. still on the books. And we'll evaluate that as we get closer to that date. We have a number of liquor license renewals. I was going to mention KT Tracy Inc. It's the AM/PM Mini Mart at 1039 Lewis River Road. Molly Thai Cuisine at 1251 Lewis River Road. Woodland Corner Store, 1697 Lewis River Road. Cordero, I'll give the name of the business. Taqueria Mexicana, 545 Park Street. Woodland Liquor and Tobacco, 1230 Lewis River Road. And RDH ACO, Limited Liability Corporation, 931 Corrick Road. So, just notification on those.
Any questions for Mr. Boyce? Before we move on, during our conference call today, some of the other cities are, they're still operating and functional. I think we're one of the first ones to take some drastic steps of not allowing the community into the public spaces at this point. But some of the other cities are going down to strict guideline during their meetings. I hope that we don't get to that point, meaning that they're literally going through, and it sounds like just approving consent items and debating those and moving on. I hope that as a city we can continue to do business. As you can see, there's a number of action items that are up this evening, and I hope that we can continue getting the work done even though that we are in a state of emergency. Not criticizing the other cities. I just hope that we can function just as we have, just without the community coming into our workspaces at this point until further notice. So, doing the best we can. Yes, Mr.
Randolph, does declaring a local emergency is something that is required by the city council to adopt, or is that something that can be taken by executive action?
What you can do is normally you can have an executive action to be taken, but usually because it involves so much of the city, the council has to approve it later. So you want the authority of the approval behind it.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Then also on your action items this evening, originally before we had gotten to this point, I was already bringing forward ordinance number 1459, amending the 2020 budget for a $10,000 line item in case we declared an emergency. Obviously, we've now declared that emergency. That line item is Mr. Boyce, maybe you can explain the reasoning behind that. There's potential for some costs associated with this virus and keeping operations going. I don't think that we're asking for an astronomical amount to be allocated, but Mr. Boyce.
Right, so we're asking for $10,000 at this point. Most likely, we could see some expenses related to personal protective equipment, some IT costs maybe if individuals need to work from home. So that's what we're evaluating at this point.
And I guess the big point of that too is that because we are in a state of emergency, the county and the state are as well, there's potential for reimbursement as this continues and also from the federal government. Mr. Randolph.
And likewise, that makes it easier for federal money to flow in if you have a state of emergency that's been declared.
Moving on to portion 4, consent items.
Move adoption of the consent items.
Second. Moved by Councilmember Frederick, seconded by Councilmember Plaza. Will the clerk please take the vote?
Councilmember Frederick.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
We're voting on the consent agenda. Councilmember Smith, do you vote in the affirmative or negative?
Is he still with us?
Councilmember Smith, are you still there?
Did we lose?
Councilmember Smith? Yep, now I can.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Consent items have been approved. Thank you. This is extremely awkward this evening. Moving on to action item F, ordinance number 1457, authorizing CCF&R ballot measure to annex to fire district in place on November 4th, 2020, primary election ballot, final reading.
Move adoption of ordinance number 1457, final reading.
Second. Moved by Councilmember Frederick, seconded by Councilmember Plaza. Councilmember Fredericks?
This is the final reading. I've already discussed it.
Councilmember Plaza? Further discussion? All right, will the clerk please take the vote on action item F, ordinance number 1457?
Councilmember Holland. Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman. Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye. Action item F has passed. Moving on to action item G, authorize mayor to sign notice of change order with Clark & Sons Construction for CAP-16-04 Scott Hill Road and OPH frontage and utility improvements.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Frederick, seconded by Councilmember Chapman. Councilmember Fredericks.
Ms. Coleman, you have a concerned look on your face or confused. At least that's my perception. I could be wrong.
That's a normal look.
That's okay. I spent most of my life as well.
Do you want to know why?
Yes.
Did I miss that we do consent items E?
We did all.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I thought that there would be questions on that, so. Okay. That was my confused look. I
Okay.
apologize.
She was still back.
So this change is changing the price from 128, it's a $40,000
Yes,
change.
sir.
And did we not recognize this at the beginning? Did we get into it?
No, so when you go out and you engineer a job from the very beginning,
Yep.
the engineering company goes out and they have locates done at the facility, and then based on whatever the locate marks show, they do their design based on that. When we got in and they opened up the road, locates were not 100% accurate, pipe depths were different, so we couldn't do the original design as scope, so we had to do a redesign. And so this was the least expensive route. The original price came in at $55,000, which would have had us about $5,000 over the extra budgeted dollar amount that I have. But they brought the cost down to $39,000 so I could stay within my budgeted amount.
Do you believe there's going to be any further change orders?
I hope not. I cannot tell you yes or no.
I love hopes and maybes.
Yes, my hopes and dreams are, and they do understand the significance of this, about, you know, a third of the original contract amount, and so they do understand my concern that this is all that we have, and that it was a deal killer if they couldn't get it down to the change order amount that they provided us.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Councilmember Chapman?
No comment.
Further discussion on action item G. Clerk, please take the vote on action item G, the notice of change order with Clark & Sons Construction.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
All right, action item G has passed. Moving on to action item H. Oh, Ms. Coleman?
I apologize. I know our Public Works Committee meeting was canceled, but I do want to share that I did send out all this documentation that is submitted on our agenda tonight to my Public Works Committee ahead of time for review and comments back, and I received none stating that they did want me to move forward on that. Just share that. That is on the agenda item.
Because there's a few in here, these are all part of that communication.
All of them were sent out to my Public Works Committee, correct, ahead of time for review.
All right, thank you. Moving on to action item H, authorize mayor to sign contract amendment number 5 with Brandon Osborne for construction management services at the Scott Hill Booster Station.
So moved.
Moved by- We'll give it to Mrs. Rounds this evening.
Yes.
I think there's a delay on the phone. Moved by Councilmember Fredericks, second by Councilmember Rounds. Councilmember Fredericks.
No discussion.
Councilmember Rounds.
No discussion.
Further discussion. Hearing none, will clerk please take the roll on action item H.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman. Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks. Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
All right, action item H has passed. Moving on to action item I, authorize mayor to sign change order with Gibbs & Olson for industrial feasibility study.
Move to approve action item I.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Plaza, second by Councilmember Fredericks. Councilmember Plaza.
No comment.
Councilmember Fredericks.
No discussion.
Further discussion. Hearing none, will clerk please take the roll on action item I.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Action item I has passed. Moving on to action item J, authorize mayor to sign contract with Stella J for the water treatment plant, filter restoration, and media replacement project.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Fredericks, second by Councilmember Plaza. Councilmember Fredericks.
I have no discussion.
Councilmember Plaza.
No comment.
Further discussion?
Oh, I just wanted to say I thought it was cool that it was a local business. They got the bid because they are a Woodland company. So that was all.
Thank you. Anything further? Hearing none, will clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman. Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
All right, action item J has passed. Moving on to action item K. Ordinance 1455, amending the 2020 budget adopted by ordinance number 1455 to revise the revenues to and appropriations for certain funds and improving an ordinance summary for publication.
Move to adopt ordinance number 1459, not to exceed $10,000 in appropriations.
Second.
Moved by Councilman. Moved by Councilmember Frederick, second by Councilmember Platt. You normally
is that we shouldn't go over the $10,000 mark, but if we do, we'll be back at it again here in a couple weeks, and nothing, we can certainly have an additional meeting if we feel one is necessary between now and then.
No comment. Further discussion?
Yeah.
Councilmember Chapman.
Yeah, I'd just like to see that you guys are taking action, staying ahead of the curve here, and trying to spearhead this and try to nip it in the bud as fast as we can. I very much appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Anything further? Will the clerk please take the vote?
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Fredericks. Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman. Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Action item K has passed. Moving on to action item L, resolution 719, a resolution declaring a public emergency.
Move to approve action item L, resolution 719.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Plaza, second by Councilmember Rounds. Councilmember Plaza.
Basically, I think that Mayor Finn and his team are making the correct choice by doing what they've done, and I think the council should get behind it.
Councilmember Rounds.
I believe that being proactive is better than being reactive, so I agree 100%.
Further discussion? Councilmember Fredericks.
I think it's entirely appropriate. It's a serious issue, but if there's only one thing that I could add, if we could limit the amount of toilet paper being purchased at the local grocery stores, great.
Yeah, I think we could all benefit from that. Anything further? Hearing none, will the clerk please take the vote on resolution 719, resolution declaring a public emergency for the city of Woodland?
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Action L has passed. The time is now 7:47. Those on the phone, if you could please give us a few moments to clear the room, and we're going to go into executive session. For approximately, sorry, how about we take a 3-minute break, and when we come back, we'll be in executive session. I'll give us an... Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So,
We're going to go into, we're going to pause here in just a second. Time is 7:53, we're back in session, and at this time we're going to go into executive session for approximately
15 minutes, you
15
can extend
minutes.
it if you need to.
Okay, 15 minutes. So at this time we'll go ahead